I will move on to another topic. Thank you for your help with that. Mr Reinhardt, you had some correspondence with the Shadow Treasurer in relation to discrepancies between PFO and MyEFO in terms of the midterm deficits. Do you recall that correspondence?
Yes, I recall that correspondence.
Very good. What's the differences between PFO and MyEFO in the medium term?
So first of all, I'd be a bit cautious about this, characterising it as discrepancies. From any fiscal update to another, there are always changes from year to year. So let me just... So I presume you're talking about the UCB changes from 28-29 onwards. Deficit in a percentage of GDP in PFO was minus 1.2%. As of MyEFO, it was minus 1.5%. Following year, minus 0.9, down to minus 1.2. 1.8 in the two following years in PFO, 1.0 and then 0.9 in MyEFO. Negative 0.5 in 33-34, negative 0.7 in that year in MyEFO, negative 0.3 in 34-35, negative 0.5 in 34-35 in MyEFO, 0.0 in PFO in the final year of the medium term, and negative 0.1 in MyEFO.
Okay. So the budget deficit's got worse in every financial year, is that right?
The deficit has got worse in every financial year, but continues to converge towards surplus by the end of the medium term, but does not achieve surplus in the medium term.
Yeah, no surpluses for a decade. So that's in percent of GDP terms. Do you have it in real terms, in aggregate over that period, perhaps?
I don't know if I have that on me.
I've seen a figure reported in the media of $57 billion. Does that sound right to you? Does that ring any bells?
I can check with the team. We would generally say that percentage of GDP is a more accurate term, so it's generally what we report on. I can check with Dr. Clark. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have that on me, sorry.
Any of your colleagues?
John Clark, Assistant Parliamentary Budget Officer. Yes, that's correct. We would normally talk in terms of percent of GDP in the medium term. Yeah,
so you don't know what the dollar figure is? Because it's been
we don't have that on there,
widely reported.
But we can take that on notice.
Okay, thank you. If you could take that on notice. As far as you're aware, looking at the numbers, what are the primary drivers of the increased deficit?
So there are drivers on both the revenue and expense side. The primary drivers, let me just see if I can find my notes. I might just see if Dr. Clark, while I look through my notes, has...
So, Senator, the MyEFO didn't discuss drivers of growth in receipts, or the particular drivers of growth in receipts or payments in the medium term. Within the forward estimates, it reported that the fastest major growing payments are interest on debt, the NDIS defence, hospitals payments, medical benefits payments and the childcare subsidy.
Sure, but and that's helpful, thank you. But can you tell me whether it is primarily a revision down of revenue or a revision up of payments that has contributed to this drop in deficits or increase in the deficits?
So we would say that on a year-by-year basis, it's a bit of both. We have some movements in payments and some movements in receipts. By the end of the medium term, because it's converged largely back to where it was, it's kind of a consistent story of a little bit of revenue and a little bit of expenses.
But I mean, we're dealing with numbers. There is going to be a number which is greater than or less than the other number. So can you tell me, is the change due more to a change in receipts or more to a change in expenditure?
We'd say expenses are a larger proportion than receipts.
Right. What can you quantify that for me? How much larger are expenses than receipts?
60% associated with variations in payments and 40% associated with variations in receipts. However, that is on a year-by-year basis rather than by the end of the forward estimates.
Yep. Is it a different breakdown by the end of the forwards?
We have that one. I don't know if I have that one on me, unfortunately.
Mr. Clark, can you help with that?
No, I don't think so. The 60-40 is based on these published percents of GDP, which are all rounded to the nearest 0.1.
Sure.
So I expect the numbers would be a little different with the unrounded numbers, which we don't have access to.
Okay. So it's been driven by both revisions on receipts and expenditure, but expenditure is doing more of the heavy lifting to the tune of 60-40. Is that fair?
That's consistent with the published numbers in the MAFO.
Thank you. It's not consistent with what the Treasurer has said, though. He's publicly said it's explained by receipts, not spending. Anyway, that's not for you to worry about. It seems to me that a 6-month period between PFO and MAFO to have a revision of this nature is quite a large revision in a 6-month period. Is that a fair characterisation?
We have had a look at the numbers over a number of years, and we do not think it's a particularly large revision. It's consistent with normal revisions between fiscal updates.
So what did they not know in PFO that we've since learned in the last 6 months? What's the new information that's led to this revision?
You're referring to the revision in the medium term or
Correct.
the forward estimates?
So from one fiscal update to the next, there's changes in expenditure in different programs driven by population growth that might change, expectations of take-up that might change
Was
over
it
different
population
programs.
growth in this instance? I'm not asking for
So
hypotheticals.
changes in
but
take-up of particular programs over time, changes in the costs of programs over time, changes in revenue take-up over time, changes in estimates of different price changes, whether it be commodities or housing. So there's a very large number of things that can contribute to changes over time between fiscal updates. I don't have the detail of what might have changed between PFO and MAFO.
No one has the detail, which is why we're asking these questions. So in your view, is it most likely due to changed forecasts, not decisions of government?
Well, it's likely to be some of both. And that's not really... I think questions that come to the detail of MAFO versus PFO changes are probably for the government and Treasury rather than...
We will certainly be asking them as well, but I'm just interested in your expert opinion as the independent parliamentary budget officer. Is it, in your judgment, based on the information that you have, and you have better access to information than I do from Treasury and Finance, is it largely due to forecasting changes or decisions of government or a combination, and if so, what?
It would be a combination of both, Senator.
But you can't quantify that?
No.
If the PBO can't do that, I mean, how can you do your jobs providing accurate information to parliamentarians and the public about the state of the budget?
I think these are questions. We have what we have in terms of MAFO to PFO. I think it's for the government to talk to questions of changes over time.
Shouldn't they be providing you with this information to assist you in your duties?
We're provided with everything that is in the public domain. It's for the government to determine what it provides. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. It may just be that we haven't done the full analysis that you're actually after around the differences between expenditure and decisions taken driving the medium-term outlook.
Well, but the PBO does have access to non-public information, don't you? You can't do your costings without it.
We can ask for additional information for costings as they arise. That is very true.
Yeah. So you don't have any non-public information about this. You just have what the government published in MAFO.
We can request additional non-public information around the detail. Yeah.
Do you think that's warranted, given that there's been this kind of discrepancy between PFO and MAFO, and you'll be asked by parliamentarians to provide advice on the state of the budget?
As we're asked for advice, we request additional information.
All right. Well, we might have to put in a request then. Chair, Thanks, Chair. I'm finished with the PBO.
Excellent.